So I'm gonna start off with this. First of all, the roof is about done. Well, we got about a week and a half left. That'll be done by Christmas.
The TPO will be done, other than the ancillary, issues, beyond that will be probably at the first of the year.
Okay. All right, and then also the ACC committee needs, some resumes because they're gonna lose, or down what, two? Down two. Also, I will say, that we'd like to have more people show up to the ladies club bingo on Tuesday night, right? Because that's a good time. Let's see, for anyone that has a site in the RV compound, the annual RV compound meeting will be January 12th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the clubhouse. There will be no walkthrough that day. That's one of the announcements. Let's see what else we got going on here. I hope everybody has a nice Christmas and has had a nice Thanksgiving already. It feels like we've been gone like 6 months. So, I just want everybody to have a nice Christmas. Let's see. Who's gonna read the GM report? You gonna read?
Well, she didn't really give me anything, but we did want to remind everybody. Microphone. Thank you. Our GM obviously isn't here this evening, but she did want me to remind everybody, if you are currently on ACH, where you are having your payments taken out of the bank by Brookridge, and you wish to continue that for 2022, you must fill out that form. We had about 764 people on ACH this year. We've only got about 300 back. So if you wish to continue to be on ACH, it's not going to carry over. You do need to fill out that form again. If you don't have it, you threw it out, recycled it, we do have copies in the office. And please try and have it back by around December 20th, which is next week. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll have a treasury report. Larry Hughes.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
No?
Why not? Can you hear my fingers hitting on the thing? Okay, treasurer's report. Our ending balance was $190,025.87. Really? Okay, let's try it again. Better? Is it through the mic or is it just because I'm hollering? All right. Operating account ending balance is $190,025.87. Our AR assessments, $146,385.36. BCR fines owed is $78,574.23, and the total liens on file are 31. In the income side, the assessment income was $99,097.32. BCR fines are $950. Other income was $11,363.20 for a total income of $111,410.52. Come down through to the administrative current for this month. Their expenses are $45,541.01. Facilities was $17,431.93. Public Works was $15,854.46. Code enforcement was $24,620. Now, clear over on the right-hand side of that column, those two columns, three columns there, sorry, is year-to-date. The administrative office year-to-date is 86% of budget. The facilities is 79. Public Works is 86. And code enforcement is 99. People that follow me along on this monthly, you'll see a lot of difference in these from last month or any month prior to now. Because the expense column here on the current month expenses, they were done by taking the expenses, they minus the income, and that's how they came up with the final expenses. That's not correct. Expenses are correct, are expenses. They're not expenses minus income. So we went back through, and this is up to current, up to November. So that 86.79, 86.99%. We have been doing that the way that someone decided they wanted that done, and it was wrong. We've got that straightened out. So, the next line down here are reserve accounts. Interest on our reserve accounts is $5,109.22. The reserve deposit, which is, this paid this off in full, by the way, is $447,200. And our balance in the reserve accounts is $1,759,843.90. We paid out of the reserve accounts this month, or in November, I should say, $7,136.90 went to Florida courts. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking, why are we paying the Florida courts out of reserve? And then I was told, Larry, that's your tennis courts. So I didn't put that together when I should have read it, but I didn't read it that way. Maintenance is our people that are putting the roof on. That's at $82,395. So total in up through November was $89,531.90 out of the reserves. Donated funds is Capital City is where we have our donated funds, Capital City Bank. We have $20,894.17. Veterans Day, we paid out for food $770.12, and the scavengers hunt was $155.87. So the total payout was $925.99. And before you ask me how much we took in, I can't tell you right at this moment because I don't know. I'm done.
I just want to say, you've been trying to get this straightened out for quite a few months, and I thank you, and I think that most people that keep track of the budget, the monthly budget, I think they're gonna be really happy, because this is what our budget is. Thanks, Larry.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have unfinished business, which is none. Next thing after that is new business, and we're talking about the code of ethics. And that's Rosemary's gonna present that.
The topic is the Code of Ethics for the Bcpo Board. Analysis. The Code of Ethics is important because it clearly lays out the rules of behavior and provides the groundwork for the Board of Directors. Regardless of size, HOAs count on their Board of Directors to set a standard of ethical conduct for everyone in the community to follow. The recommendation is to approve the Code of Ethics for Bcpo and adopt the Code of Ethics into the governing documents. This is the model code of ethics for HOA board members. Board members must move within the scope of their authority as determined by the law and the association's governing documents. Always endeavor to serve the association's best interests and put their own personal interests aside. Carry out their responsibilities with impartiality. Make decisions for the association using sound judgment and due diligence. Disclose any potential conflicts of interest and recuse themselves from the discussion and vote in case one exists. Allow community members the chance to voice their opinions on association matters. Always support the decisions made as a board, even if they do not necessarily agree with them, and hold open, honest, and fair elections. Board members must not support or promote any activity, action, or behavior that breaches the law or other regulatory requirement. Disclose confidential information to any party outside of the board unless given authorization to do so. share any any discussions or decisions made in the executive session of board meetings, reveal personal information about any homeowner, resident, or employee, use association funds for personal use without authorization, exploit their position as a board member for personal gain, directly or indirectly accept gifts from members of the community, suppliers, or contractors, misreport or conceal facts concerning the association, threaten, intimidate, or harass any board member, homeowner, resident, contractor, or employee, make any promise to a bidder or contractor. A better community for all. Every HOA community should have a code of ethics for HOA board members to follow. This ensures that board members will act with good intentions, in all honesty, and within the association's best interest. It also helps eliminate or reduce any trust issues or suspicions that homeowners may have about your board. The motion is to approve the code of ethics for BCPO and adopt the code of ethics into the governing documents.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Val.
When we put anything into the governing documents, aren't they voted on by the people? So where exactly are you putting this? What governing document?
Right now, Val, I'm not sure because Carol put this together.
From what I understand, when the board of directors has their own book, each board of director has their book, and there was something like this in that book before, but nobody ever knew about it. So when Carol had seen that, she was looking at the other one, and she asked me about it, and I wasn't aware of that at all.
Me neither.
So Rosemary, when we talked to Rosemary, she felt it should come forward, and it can go in the beginning of the board of directors books, and we can also put it online that this is for the board of directors, because it's a code of ethics for board members, specifically for us.
So it wouldn't go in a governing document
Not yet.
because the bylaws govern the board. But
That's
yet
right.
the residents have to vote for any changes to the bylaws.
That's correct.
Okay, and I wanted to point out that 720 does in fact, under 720, 3033, it covers, each director shall certify in writing to the Secretary of the Association, I guess that'd be me, that she has read the association's declarations of covenants, articles of incorporation, bylaws, and current written rules and policies, which I'm guessing is the purchasing policy. And I don't know if the written rules are the guidelines considered the SOPs or not. Anyway, that he or she will work to uphold such documents and policies to the best of his or her ability, that they will faithfully discharge his or her fiduciary responsibility to the association members. So it's kind of covered in the law. And then we take the oath of office also. Maybe, was she thinking about putting it in the oath of office? Making the oath of office a little more beefy?
It's something that was in the board of directors booklets, and nobody ever looked at them. Okay, and
Well, you didn't see it. I was on the board from,
I did see it.
2013 to 16. You were on the board from 2016 to
2018.
18. So
I
we
did-
pretty
I
much
did-
covered it. I mean, a long span of time. And
Rosemary's been on it for what, 10 years? 10 years on the board?
10 years on the board.
I think we need to table this and figure out exactly where it needs to go, or even if it needs to go.
I think it does, and perhaps, perhaps we can think about putting it in the bylaws the next time we vote. Not this time, but the next time there's a vote.
I don't know if you're gonna give this to the Rules and Regulation Committee to maybe look at it?
No, that wouldn't be the rules and regulations, it would be the bylaws. Rules and regulations are not, the people in the rules and regulations will
Okay.
not be doing bylaws. The rules and regulations dictate what the community does,
Correct,
and the bylaws dictate what the board does.
correct.
And those have to go, those are usually done in concert with the attorney to make sure that they're correct by the statutes. Yeah.
So, do you want to hear any other discussion, or I had some questions about this,
I'd
or?
like to see it tabled myself.
Okay, so will I ever have an opportunity to discuss with anybody my questions on these?
Mr. President, I think.
Because I've got questions myself for certain things of this thing that I don't agree with.
Okay.
So I would say we need to look at that, and then each one of us needs to have input in this thing.
Can I make a suggestion? That everyone submit their questions about that, about any parts of this, and to submit them. And then we could, I don't mind tabling it right now, because you have some good questions. I just wish I knew the questions before. I mean, it would have helped me also. You know, instead of bringing them up
You
to-
do know when we got this agenda, right?
Right, even a couple, yes. I know. The office was working on that, but that's still 48 hours, and it was done within 48 hours.
No, our SOP says to get it to noon on the Friday before.
Okay,
Please, SOPs
will you,
are guidelines.
okay, that's
And
all
there's
right.
a reason for it.
Okay, that's enough,
Please.
okay. Will you amend your motion to table, please?
Oh, where are we supposed to send these emails? To
the
Rosemary?
They can be sent to Rosemary, yeah.
To Steve, or do you have an email? You're both on the same email? Okay.
Okay, you make a motion to table it
I'll make a motion to table this
For further discussion.
for further discussion.
for further discussion.
Okay. You know, have a second?
Yes, a second.
Okay. All in favor of tabling this till another meeting, say aye. Raise your right hand, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is ACC guidelines. Okay, the analysis update ACC guidelines in a streamlined process. Recommendation is to change Article 3, Section 3.24, screening of RV ports and carports. The motion is to approve the ACC changes as submitted. Let's see, Article 3 reads, Section 3.24, the screening of RV ports that is required and carports when required. Screening is required on for storage of RVs, trailers, boats, and commercial vehicles. Acceptable screening materials are lattice panels, privacy screens, and live screening. Lattice and privacy screen must extend from the front to the rear of the storage unit to include the trailer tongue and/or outboard motor. Lattice and privacy screen is to be installed with a maximum 6-inch gap at the bottom and extend to a minimum height of 8 feet. Increased screening height is required to encompass the roof line of the, or high point of the RV trailer, boat, or commercial vehicle. One opening no larger than 80 inches high by 36 inches wide may be allowed for ingress, egress. All screen, and the insert is, all screening material except live screening must be attached directly to the carport. Live screening must be sufficient height to hit the highest point of the storage unit to be planted intervals sufficient to provide I can't say that word, I'm sorry. Screening is determined by the code enforcement and security. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Jerry,
Yes.
could you explain in a couple of sentences what that all means?
Okay, what that means is we won't have like, I can say a great example is there's a home on Brookridge Boulevard and everybody has seen this road up and down Brookridge. It's got 4 panels of lattice out in the yard. The idea is to put that lattice, attaching it to the carport and not making it look like a fence.
Okay,
And that's what this amendment change, article change
yeah,
is going to help do.
okay, just wanted to be clear with that.
See if there's any discussion by any members here.
Mr. President, I do have one thing. The very last word that you read was security. Is it just supposed to be code enforcement, period?
Yeah, that
Oh,
can
yeah,
be,
that should be.
that can be taken out, yes. That's what was in the guidelines, so yeah, that can be taken out. Any other discussion by the audience or anything? Anybody want to comment? Go ahead, Paul.
Hi, Paul Campbell, Unit 2. I'm also a member of the ACC. The chairperson of the ACC could not be here tonight, so he wanted me to read you a letter. To the Board of Directors, family commitments prevent my being in attendance, but I would speak to you regarding 2 items on tonight's agenda. Specifically, the proposed changes to ACC Guidelines, Section 3.13 and 3.24. Both agenda items are ill-conceived and poorly stated. Section 3.13 and its suggested 12-inch maximum distance needs more study. There are more instances where fencing is desirable further from the property lines. For example, enclosing an area close to the home for pet containment. Nor does it consider situations where existing bushes or trees prevent installation of a fence to comply with the proposed change. Additionally, rear property lines are not mentioned. Section 3.24 refers only to carports, whereas RV ports shall be included. It does not specifically address attachment procedures in order to eliminate offset frameworks attached with extensions, nor does it address screening intended for decorative or trellis purposes. There are other shortcomings of both proposed changes which need not be mentioned here. The ACC was not consulted, nor was the committee's input requested regarding these proposals. I would ask that both agenda items be tabled, further study initiated, and suggestions and recommendations from the ACC be solicited, and considered prior to implementation of these changes. Respectfully, Harry Calderbank, Chairman, ACC. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Any other discussion?
I do, in light of what was just read, I do.
Nothing about any of this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm not going to, we've been talking about this at the last 3 meetings, and about especially that wall has come up 3 or 4 times, and it's closer than a fence to the carport, and it's used for screening for a trailer on the carport. Exactly. I mean, the ACC committee has y'all turned things down that y'all wanted to turn this down. So, I've agreed with you. I think when somebody comes and brings something up to make screening out in the yard that's 8 feet high and using laths, they should not use laths that's considered a screen, like a fence. And it needs to be 6 feet, only 6 feet high. And, I mean, the committee we just had one where the committee voted no on, and this has not been passed yet, that they're gonna put a fence up right next to their house as a screening, and it runs the whole length of the house. And all it is about a foot off the carport. So it needs to be connected directly to the carport. So,
I have another question then, Mr. President. Is this Article 3, Section 3.24, the same in all, that's all that was done, was that the only difference is that all screening material except live screening must be attached directly to the
that's
carport?
it. Everything else
That
is
is the
exact
only-
same.
Okay,
Exact same
so that
what was
is what's
there.
in the ACC guidelines.
Mhm.
And the only thing that would be different is insert all screening material except live screening must be attached directly to the carport. So what I
That's
take
correct.
that to be is that live screening is the shrubs and stuff. And that would take into consideration, instead of having the lattice work, as long as the live screening is covering the RV and whatever, that it's the same except for that. It's just asking you to attach it directly to the carport. Am I reading that correctly?
Hmm.
Okay.
Any other comments about it? Well, I'm ready to vote on
There you
it. All in favor of inserting that into the carport, to the ACC guidelines?
And removing security.
Yes,
And
with,
moving
yes, with that
security down there.
adjustment, yes.
Raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. Okay. The next thing is it's also the ACC guideline, Article 3, Section 3.13, and it reads the exact same that's already there, and you're adding all fences parallel to side property lines must be placed no more than 12 inches from the property line. Lattice panels may not be used as fencing material. And the motion to approve that ACC changes as permitted and announces, of course, update the ACC guidelines and streamline the process. Anybody have a comment on that?
I'll second it.
Anybody have a comment on that?
President, viewing this many years ago, and of course, over the ACC in the past, come across a lot of houses that they put a fence in, it's on a hill. And one spot is in the ground at 6 feet, and the top of it is at 3 feet. But it's level on top.
As long as it's not over 6 feet.
What?
I think it's as long as it's not over 6 feet.
I'm saying, but it goes into the ground over 6 feet. Because you have to mount it, hold it down. You can't just lay it on top of the grass.
Well, if it's underneath the ground, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how tall it is then? It's going down in?
Going down it, as long as it does not exceed 6
That's what they said that before. They said it had to be only 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet. Okay. All right. Then they had-
Okay, so
Question.
I'm not gonna vote, I was gonna make a comment.
Oh, okay.
My question is gonna be that we've looked at this over and over, and you got people almost every week that's wanting to put a fence right up next to the house, or put that, what they consider that, what we consider, I consider, some of the ones on the ACC consider it a wall. We're trying to eliminate that you can't put a fence all the way up against a carport or against a house. How you gonna do that to make it look right if you don't put, where they gotta be some way out at the property line? They can't come out there and say, well, I want it 3 feet from my house. I've seen examples of it already today where somebody's put like 2 or 3 panels up. You gotta have something to where, you can eliminate where, of safety factor, where they can't put 1 or 2 panels up, it's gonna fly off everywhere.
And I'd like to expand on that. My thought was a fence was an enclosure. So like Jerry's saying, if you're putting up 2 panels, you don't have a fence.
Just the
And I'm not saying it's gotta be like within 12 inches at the back or anything, it's just, if it's gonna be a fence, it needs to be out at the property line, because to me, that's the only way it looks right anyway.
Okay, then, do you want to?
But, well, I wanted to say a small portion of fence, not for enclosure, used for decorative purpose shall be of a picket or rail type only, not to exceed 3 feet, so they shouldn't be using lattice anyway.
That's right, it's no, lattice panels may not be used as fencing material.
But fence, I like what Harry said in his letter. What if they wanted to just put up a small fence for a small pet? They wouldn't necessarily put it at the lot line.
Is it, that's what, I'm just a little confused.
I just want to ask, and probably Greg more than anybody else, is it enforceable?
Sure.
Okay.
Then I have to, all right. The addition that we're saying is all fences parallel to side property lines must be placed no more than 12 inches. I think it must be, should be a deep under place. More than 12 inches from property line. Now, the reason for that is that it's not in the middle of the yard or close to the house. I'm just not sure what that's for.
So if I wanted to keep my dachshund in between my house line and my garage line, that's 10 feet from the property line and 12 feet from the back property line. So maybe we could get rid of H.
Well, I'm still, I'm just wondering why, the other one I understood, but this one here, I'm just not, I'm not sure on. I mean, I'm just not,
I'm also thinking that if a homeowner has shrubs along his property line, now he buys a dachshund, and he wants to put up a fence to keep it in his back lawn.
you went
Am I confused? Where's that fence go?
Of course, it's gonna go on the outside of the shrub anyway. I mean, it'll go out all the shrubs.
Be between the shrubs and the property line.
Yeah, but it should be out there at the property line.
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe the shrubs are on the property line.
exactly.
I think,
Jerry?
to me, this is.
Yeah.
The gentleman's got some light he'd like to shine
I
on.
got confusing.
Please,
Come on up, Paul.
please shed some light.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Campbell again, Unit 2. As Harry had said, we have approved numerous dog runs,
Right.
which are 3 feet out from the home and run the length of the home backwards. They are short fences because most people in here have short dogs. They are not picket, they are not, privacy.
Right.
They are mainly chain link. You're telling us that we cannot approve anything for a dog run. If you want to look around the community, we have done many of these. And it's exactly for that purpose.
Okay, let me ask, and that's what I think that we're coming from too. All privacy fences must be parallel to the, would be, but that would be the only, but
We had
the,
a meeting Monday morning. This was presented to us Monday morning. We have discussed fences, freestanding structures.
Mhm.
We are working on the freestanding structured verbiage. The fencing change that Jerry wants was presented to us Monday morning. Harry said we will discuss it, we will get back to you with a proposal for you to submit to the board. That's the extent of the conversation we had with this fencing change.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the first one was just, I had no problem with the first ACC one because it was being attached to the carport, so we don't have problems like we've had in a couple of homes because we didn't have anything to say they couldn't. This one here, I don't feel comfortable voting on this evening, and I don't want to vote it down because it sounds like it's still being worked on.
That first one only describes carports where RV ports should be included. Does not specifically address attachment procedures of any other
Well,
structure.
it says the screening for 3.24, the previous one, 3.2, the screening of RV ports that is required in carports when required. That's putting both of them there.
There was a proposal handed to Jeremy that morning that gave him the wording that he wanted, and this is not it.
Okay.
I mean, the one I was gave Monday morning said exactly the exact same thing. Because my copy, I had both copies there with me that morning, and both of them said all screen material except live screen must be attached directly to the carport.
I don't see a problem.
Okay, I'm okay with table the second one, but
Yeah, I would feel,
I just think, we think we need to have something put together by the 1st of January on this because,
well, anything that comes up in regards to this, you can table, I mean, it takes 30 days.
Okay.
You can do it in 30 days. So if something comes up before then, you don't have to act on it that day because you meet every other week.
The last one that came up, we did not reject. We had a motion to approve and no second. It was
Okay.
sent to the board for their approval. We did not reject it.
Okay,
that was the one where it was a half fence. The panels were real high and the guy was wanting to put a roof over it. Okay, but there was another one that y'all turned down that was when I was gone looking for something. The other one had the fence going along the house, which it might have been 3 foot away from the house. And it was just down one side, it wasn't enclosed, had no gate, they were using it for a privacy thing.
Because it was a solid fence, there was no gaps.
That's right, and guess what? Because we do not have any rules and regulations that have to do with that, that got to be put there.
I think this is a discussion that you as a liaison
So,
should have that open discussion.
okay, I'm okay, like I said, I'm okay with tabling this.
Okay, are you willing to?
Okay, I'll make a
table it?
motion to table the second part of this.
The motion, the Article 3, Section 3.13. Okay, and I'll do that, I'll second that table. Okay.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand of tabling this. Aye. Okay, motion, all opposed? Okay, the next thing is the Veterans Committee, and that's Rosemary.
The topic is the Veterans Committee. In past years, the Veterans Committee, per se, has been established for our Veterans and Memorial Day ceremonies. Once the activities were over, the committee was inactive. The recommendation is to establish a permanent Veterans Committee overseeing all veterans' activities. The motion is to appoint Sandra Combs and Gil Langscott to the Veterans Committee.
Shouldn't that be two, or do we have to do a permanent Veterans Committee? We could just keep it going?
Yeah.
Okay. So your motion is to, for the Veterans Committee, instead of it being, it's a standing committee then?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move to a standing committee, and to appoint Sandra Compt and, Gil Langto to the Veterans Committee. Is that the?
That's right.
Okay. I'll second that then.
Okay. Have any discussion?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, will this committee have authorization to spend, or will it be asking the board,
All expenditures will go before the board for approval.
all expenditures?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And will this be replacing the Memorial Day, the Veterans Day, and the 4th of July SOPs?
No.
Okay, because those SOPs say that a BCPO organization volunteers to conduct the Memorial Day and Veterans Day salute annually.
We would, if this passes, we would adjust the SOP.
Okay. And it'd be a standing committee then?
Yes.
Yes, it would be a standing committee, yeah.
Okay, and the reason why we don't have the volunteer forms? I mean, we've seen Sandy's before, but,
They've been on the committee. They have been part of it since.
but we've never approved the committee. I haven't
It was-
found
it
any
was just a
minutes that said we approved a Veterans Day committee.
It's when you have Veterans Day program or the Memorial Day program, the liaison just had a couple of people to help them, and that was the committee. And now we're going to make it a regular standing committee, because now, Rosemary and the others are doing so much more than just those two. They're
Oh,
getting information, right, they're bringing information to the board
love the
and
idea
everything.
that they're, because they do much more
Yes, they
than
do.
that. So, but, just trying to figure out if they're gonna do Memorial Day and 4th of July, and. that's
Well,
fine.
they've got it to do the Memorial Day and Veterans Day programs. Those are specifically for veterans. 4th of July isn't for veterans.
Also, you'll be aware that both of them have been appointed to, as well as they've been appointed to other stuff, like Sandy's been a unit rep, her resume's been here for a unit rep. And also Gil has been appointed to the RV compound committee as well, so his resume has been here also. And,
Okay, I just don't wanna
okay,
slack off on,
Okay.
you know, what's supposed to be with the agenda.
okay. So any other comments, questions, discussion? Okay, all in favor of voting them to the committee, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. All opposed? None?
Before I yield the floor, I would like Gil to come up to explain or talk about our Reads Across America program. Thank you, Gil. Should be on.
Gil Langto, Unit 4. One thing I want to establish on Reach Across America is very important to me because my youngest brother is buried there, and two of my neighbors are buried at Bushdale National Cemetery. The thing is, I'm also on the committee for special events at Bushdale. Give you a couple of pointers for the history on this Reach Across America. Mr. Worcester is from Maine, actually was from the hometown I'm from. But that's not what I'm going to deal with. This, 18th is Saturday. What we have to do is, people say, well, different, cemeteries start at different day, time. But the whole idea is 3,150 veteran cemeteries in 50 different states in the United States will put out a 1.7 million wreaths by noontime on the 18th. So everybody will be doing that. So by noontime, they'll be there. One thing is, you do get a voucher if you buy a veteran, a wreath, and that voucher is good until 11:30. Now, if you don't have a voucher and you're still around, any wreath that's left over, you're welcome to them and put it wherever you want on anybody's grave if you want. I mean, some people say, well, I didn't order them, that's fine. So there, a lot of times, about a third of them, most people buy a wreath, they don't show up. So what we're doing is place and let them sit there, let's pick them up and put them wherever they need to go. The Gold Star Mothers, the Boy Scouts of America, they help out to distribute things. To me, this is one of the most important things I do in life for my brother's memory and for Brian Rubidil, which is my next door neighbor. It just passed away last year from COVID, 91 years old. The gentleman was unbelievable. Me being retired military myself, and very proud of veteran. This to me is something that we need to do. Now on Saturday, I'm going to be here at 9:30, and I think Sandy is too. We're going to offer a ride for anybody that's willing to go with us. And I got one person who's already asked for one seat. I got 2 more seats in my car that I can take with us, and I'll take you up there. If you happen to go on your own, I would suggest take 75 North, you get off exit 309. When you come off the exit, you make a right, follow that down about 3 miles, and onto cemeteries on the Bushtown cemeteries on the left. When you go in there, you're going to see the first set of buildings, and say for instance, like my brother, I want to find him, I go to the kiosk, I put his last name in, and then follow down through, and they'll tell you exactly where he's located, no matter who you are. If you're buried there, you have him right there. So anything else I can do for you, I'd be more than interested. I'll be here at 9:30. Anybody wants to ride with me, we're leaving here just about 10 o'clock.
I do have a question. You said that those people that do not buy wreaths ahead of time, you said if there's any left over by 11:30, then
Right.
you could have the wreaths.
Right,
Will you be there the whole time?
I will be there.
Okay, what time will you be there till about, what time do you usually
And
stay?
usually between 10:30 and 11:30 is when they put the wreaths up.
Mm-hmm,
They're putting out 3,500 wreaths,
yeah,
but they have like 18 sections where they do this.
Yeah.
So I'll be in section 621, up in the back where my brother is. And I'm willing to help anybody that they're willing. They can call me, I have my phone.
okay.
Now, they do have a slide ceremony, some people do, at the chapel, but I'm not part of that. That's somebody that was, say, buried this week, they may have a chapel thing going on. So,
Gil, thank you very much. I just learned about,
Gil,
thank you, Gil.
Gil, Steve and I purchased a wreath, we will bring it with us,
okay.
okay? Because we purchased ours at Lowe's.
Well, some people do that.
Yeah, and he has a specific grave he wants to put it on.
The only thing they ask that they're 18 inches, they have one red bow.
Yeah, I think, when he purchased it at Lowe's, they had wreaths specifically for that,
Right. They do have.
yeah. So we will join you up here Saturday
Yeah.
to follow you.
These wreaths, when you're there, I got forms here too,
Mm-hmm,
that you order your wreath a year before, after this happens. we send $15 to the REITs across America here to Maine, and we pay as it's a donation, that's it.
Okay.
The trucking companies, they support this, and they drop these trailers all over there'll be, there'll be 5 trailers, small trailers by, Old Dominion. They'll drop them off, there'll be some read by section 500, there'll be some at section 200, and 6.1, and right through you'll see them. And, they'll open the doors at 10:30, welcome to get your read.
Okay. Thank you, Gil.
All right, have a good.
Okay, the next thing we have is RV compound amend rules and regulations, and that's on me. Okay, the analysis, update rules and regulations in the RV compound. Article 2 for clarification, change to the RV compound rules and regulations. The proposed motion, let's see, I can start up here, the section 1. No one, well, let's see, that was underlined, no one's allowed to reside in an RV compound. Section 2, what got marked through is no storage of salvage units, salvage goods, steel, building materials, appliances will be permitted. The first of it says only motorhomes, travel trailers, boats and trailers, recreational vehicles, utility or cargo trailers. I think it's been added that or cargo trailers. And then car tow haulers, dollies have been marked through, of course, because most people have their dolly attached to their RV.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
Okay. We have a lot of,
a lot of them, yes, that's.
did the RV, you know what, let's, make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept these. This did come from, this was Gil and the committee's
Okay.
proposal changes.
You made a motion to.
Make a motion to approve the changes.
I'll second.
Now we can have a discussion.
I mean, I want to say, and I see your hand up, but I just want to say something first. There was quite a few changes to this, and I think that it's better that we don't go through all of them, because this would interest anybody who's part of the RV compound. And when somebody brings a trailer in and wants to get a spot, they will have that anyway. And I believe all the members are going to get, anybody will get the new rules. Okay. So all of this that goes into effect. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gil, can you explain anything you want to?
One thing that's very important,
You gotta come up.
And then use the mic, please.
one thing that we need to, make sure we understand, that we used to have these rules and regulations before the committee was disbanded. These new rules basically mirror the other ones, but they're not the same. So somebody said, well, this is what it used to be, it's not. We have a brand new set of rules mirrored to the ones that we had, and there are changes for that reason, because we have a new committee. So, that's an important part, that we have, the committee has been disbanded, and now we're putting a new committee back together. And we do SOPs and rules and regulations.
Okay. Well, just to make a remark about that, the rules and regulations they're not just made by the compound committee. When there's a new committee, they don't change the rules just because there's a new committee. These are ones that have been long-standing.
I
And what you
understand
do is each year you just go and you know, if there are problems,
You modify it, that's correct.
modify them. And I don't see a problem with any of them as I went
I
through all of
understand
them.
that, but the thing is, if somebody has a copy of the old rules and regulations,
Yes,
these here have been modified.
exactly.
For the new thing.
Yep, and that's okay. You do, rules and regulations are to be kept up to date with the issues that you have. One question I have, were these gone over by Captain Schubert to make sure that they were all
We
enforceable?
already had a meeting with them.
Okay, so you've covered all your,
Yep, it's all covered.
okay,
Carol, myself, and Jerry,
Jerry.
we had a meeting and Mr. Schubert was there.
okay,
Captain. And we went over, we had a couple of discussions, and we got it tabled, and we got it ironed out.
okay, thank you.
And another thing, these new rules will be available at the meeting that we're gonna have on the 12th. And I did put a notation in the news and views about this. So
Okay,
everybody has the news and views in January. This is going to be all posted in there.
okay, all right, thank you.
I have one question. When will this go into effect if we approve? 30 days.
They go into effect 30 days.
Mr. President, I got one question. It says here, car tow haulers. Would that be 18 to 22-foot car trailer?
Cargo,
No, car trailer, 18 to 22-foot long. Car trailer,
oh, car trailer,
car trailer.
car haul.
What's a car tow hauler?
Tow hauler is, a lot of people call the dollies tow haulers, but they're not.
They're not. A dolly is a two-wheel behind the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We, if you notice, we took that out. We took out the commercial vehicles and all that, and that's taken out.
So the car tow haulers would be 18 to 22-foot car trailer, I take it.
It's kind of a trailer or a flatbed.
Flatbed.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's
Where's
a
the
flatbed.
one that takes the, commercial vehicles out?
And the commercial vehicles are taken out.
please.
Okay, okay, thank you. I'm just asking. Let me see, storage salvage.
Question?
Yes,
Okay, I noticed that it says cargo trailer. And then further on it says nothing can be in the utility trailer. Are we allowed to store things in the cargo trailer?
that's been struck through there, as you see.
Gil?
No storage or storage goods.
I can't.
Well, then it go, in I, it says,
Okay, can you tell me which part you're talking about?
Which is asking if stuff can be stored in the cargo trailers. Well, we don't have we can't look in those anyway because they're locked and things like that. We don't have permission to do that, so, we can't ask people to unlock them to look inside.
we can't?
No,
You don't have to.
no.
Private.
Okay.
If you're talking a car trailer, which is say 25-foot long, he has his bars in there, his tie downs in there, and his blocks in there. Every vehicle that goes in a trailer will be tied and blocked down. So there is equipment in that trailer at all times. That goes with the trailer.
That goes with the trailer.
When you buy it, it's in there. He could have 8 tie downs. He could have 8 blocks and the ramps. He could have 2 sets of ramps, short ramp and long ramps. So those are in a trailer.
Okay, on M, it says unit owners shall provide their own liability, damage and theft insurance. That's good. Bcpo and its residents are not liable for loss and damage to units stored in the RV compound. So who would be liable for any loss or damage to those units?
The owner. The owner.
But it says, and its residents, And I would imagine the unit owners are residents.
Unless,
So is it non-unit residents?
no, the ones that would be
Non-owner?
non-resident, non-owners would be the renters. And it's very specific about the renters. The homeowner has to, there's a form that the homeowner has to fill out relinquishing his space, a space for him, for the renter. So if the renter is in there, he can't, if the renter is using a spot, the homeowner cannot use another spot. That's what it's talking about, the non-owner, right? Yeah. Got it.
And you-
Yes, I have another question. My eyesight isn't very good tonight. Can you tell me where you've taken out the commercial vehicles, please?
In the first section.
The first,
Right in the front.
I know, request, the non-owner
Right,
one.
in section 1A, you'll see that we took the non-commercial vehicle out of there, utility trailers, and the dollars. That's taken right out. We should have any commercial in that space.
Okay, and I don't see commercial in here. If you've taken it out, it's not crossed out. That's what I'm looking
It's
for.
right
Is
there.
the
Gil?
motorhomes truck, can you read it to me? Is it
So
A?
motorhome, travel trailers, boat on trailers, recreational vehicle, and non-commercial vehicle.
and that my shit
It's not
down.
it's not in there.
They took it out,
Yes.
they took it out.
Okay, I have a problem with, if you're going to, we have homeowners that have businesses in
Right.
here. If they're not storing junk on their trailer, I don't see why we should discriminate against them. If it's a commercial,
You're not
Company
supposed to have a
outside.
commercial, anything in here, working out of here. You know, they're.
we have,
Yeah.
but what about the people that have the lawn mowing
They
business?
have them in there, there's no signs on it, and when we, people, we have no, business going into their trailer. So if they have them in there, they're on their own.
I'm not talking about that. The people that on lawn mowing businesses in here, they have their little
I
businesses.
understand, yeah.
Do they have trailer plates or do they have commercial plates?
They have trailer plates. They have
Okay, we don't have anybody who has commercial plates.
No, we don't.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
There's
that,
nothing on commercial plate.
Also, let me be clear on this about the commercial blade part. In some states, they do put commercial plates on the trailer.
right, they do.
Yeah.
That's, okay.
But there's nothing in there with commercial.
Okay, all right, there's nothing in the RV compound.
No.
Okay,
I have one question, Gil, is there anybody in there with a dealer plate,
Yes, there is.
DL?
Yeah, what?
That's commercial, right?
No, it's not.
It's the dealer
It's
would
a
be,
dealer, well, it's a dealer, but we don't consider it commercial plate. It doesn't say commercial on it.
but aren't all DL plates commercial belong to dealers throughout the states?
I'm not qualified to answer that question, because I know nothing that much about these plates.
Well, all I know is for the years, 35 years, a DL is a dealer plate that belongs to a company.
okay. Then what I'd like to do is I'd like to move on from that right now, but that's something that, we need to look at that one because there should be no commercial plates in there.
Right.
Okay, that is, we're talking about we're voting on the rules right now.
Right.
That's an issue that, Rich, you should make sure that you let them know. I think he just told you.
We know about that dealer plate, and Captain Schubert knows about it.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yes, a question right here.
Okay, you have to
Okay.
come up. Just come up to the mic. Thanks, Gil. No, no, you have to name and unit number. Okay, you gotta bring your,
So, what you're saying basically is if you own your own business and you have a work truck, a panel truck, whatever, you can't park it in the storage area overnight to run your business?
No, the people that have businesses, the people that we're talking about are the people that have the little lawn mowing businesses, and they don't have any signs on their vehicles or anything. They're a homeowner, they can get a space in the,
Right, but if you have somebody that's come in here to buy in here and they own their own company and they're wrapped.
they would have to park under the carport, and it would have to be covered.
So they can't rent a space.
No, it's not rented, it's a space that's, yeah, no, not for, that's a commercial
Then
business.
you're deterring people that own their own business to move in this development.
There are people that do own their own businesses that live in this development, and they put it under carports. Okay.
Okay, any other comment, question, concern? Okay. Okay, we're going. Okay, we had a motion and a second. We'll vote on this as it is, and then we can make a change, like, if need be.
No, we're not making any changes right now. These are gonna go through as done. The problem that you have with the DL plate, that's a problem that has nothing to do with the rules. It has to do with is to abiding by the rules. There's nothing else to discuss in this. Trailers are the four, are the ones that you put your car right up on. No, that's not enclosed. No. Some can be, yes, some can be closed. The tow haulers are the ones that have the two that you snap on there, and there's two wheels on the ground, and there's two wheels on the dolly. They call them tow haulers, they call them dollies. It's the same thing.
Two different things.
Are they two different things?
Dolly and toy hauler.
Oh, I'm not saying the toy hauler, I'm saying a tow hauler. I'm from New England, so.
Stick with $10.
Yes, ATTOW. I didn't do it. They're saying car tow haulers. They're calling them that instead of dollies. Is that correct?
Yes.
You just changed the name. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Car tow haulers. TOW haulers.
Of the cars being towed.
Yeah, because it's full behind the RV with the car on it.
Right, behind the RV.
So,
Go ahead.
Mr. President.
Okay.
It said two-wheel car hauler. Two-wheel.
Yeah.
Rich? Can't hear you.
That's what he's talking about. That's what he said it was.
And I'm talking about a car trailer, four-wheel, 18 through 22 foot long. That's a car trailer. I don't see that in here at all.
that's right, it shouldn't be.
And it's not allowed.
No,
Commercial vehicle,
we're getting, okay, this is,
Yeah, that one particular one, I know what you're talking about, it's in spot 25. And that's not allowed in there. That's why it's not in the number one, because it's not allowed. Yeah, that car hauler that's over there that's over in spot 25.
okay, so we have a car trailer.
So if I have a car trailer, I parked there, I tow my Corvette to a car show, and I parked it there, it's a car trailer, I put my Corvette on it and tow it to the car show.
And that's what we did with ours also. But we had it behind our trailer. But some of the trailers that are there, you have trailers there. And it can be, I'm talking about the ones that you tow things on.
And just to clarify, we have only one flatbed car hauler that like to stop.
Flatbed, thank you, a flatbed car hauler.
Well,
I think we're picking, I think
Okay.
we know the idea of it.
okay, all in favor of these rules and regulations for the RV compound, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. All opposed? None? Okay, now we're going to report of directors, committee reports. Val, do you have anything? I'll start down there.
Can you start the other end? I did, and now I forgot.
Okay, Rich?
Yeah, nothing.
Larry?
The only thing I can say is have a happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you next year.
This is committee reports. I have two. My unit reps, I think we have a full boat again, and they're starting to go out and visit people. There's somebody not here tonight, but we have a full unit 12. In case anybody doesn't know, these ladies and gentlemen are they're unit representatives, and when people move into their homes, they go and visit them and to give them any advice that they're looking for. If you have any questions about anything, the people in your unit, they're these lovely people over here. If you pick up a news and views, all of their names and their phone numbers and their unit numbers are in the news and views. And the way you know who is your unit rep is that you get a six number, a UBL number. It's also on your pass for the library, for the pool. That first number will be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6 is what your unit number is. The first number of your UBL number is your unit number. And if you have any questions or you just want to say hello to any of your unit reps, just look them up and their phone numbers are there and they're always willing to help. The other thing is,
I'm sorry, you got something else.
yes, I attended the bingo meeting on Monday, the Friday night bingo. Friday night bingo is off to a very slow start. Usually we generate $27,000 in rent from them, and they have been offline for a couple of years. They are starting up, but right now they are working at a deficit, and they're hoping by February that their numbers will go up. They need 125 participants to start to earn money. Right now, they're doing about 100 to 105, and they're losing money each week. They've lost about $1,000 a month, so they cannot afford to pay anything. But Jerry had told them, and I believe he had told us also, that until they start making money, we're not going to ask them to pay, but they are very concerned that they haven't paid anything. And they're hoping that by January, it'll start to pick up. A lot more people are coming back from up north. And the people on the outside, which is most of their participants, they are not aware that they're open. So they're going to be advertising in those little newspaper things, those little booklets that you get. I think it's called The Scene, and one's a connection or something, letting everybody know on the outside that they're going to be in business again.
Wow.
Oh, and one more. I'm sorry, these are the ones I'm on. Beautification Committee. I just want to do a great shout out to the Beautification Committee. They've done a beautiful job this year on the lights. Unfortunately, we're having technical difficulties and we're trying to get them all on. They did the red, white, and blue tree. It happens to be a patriotic tree that is for the veterans of Brookridge. I didn't know that until Mary Sweeney, who started the tree, told me that the other day. So if you get a chance to go out in the evening, they're absolutely beautiful.
Is it safe now? Okay. Val?
No.
Rosemary?
Nothing, because we've covered that, with the veterans.
Okay, I'll go then. Okay. RV compound, of course, you know, it meets next month on the 12th. The ACC committee meets on the, second and fourth Monday. And we do need people to volunteer to be on that committee. Let's see, we had 2 pages and I think it was 2. I mean, okay, and we've already got 7 already just this first day after, I think it was Tuesday might have been Tuesday and Wednesday both. I think there were 7 or 8 already for the next coming already. Let's see, the AVRC committee, we had light load last time. There was only like 4 or 5. Let's see, that's about all I have for the committees wise. Let's see, now we'll open it up to, member comments, and I'll start with the people.
Member comments.
Just to remind you that, New Year's Eve social dance is coming, and I think we're down to 14 tickets. So if you're planning on coming, call me soon.
Okay, I'll start with the people that,
Jerry, if you don't mind, I want to extend an invitation from the Musiceers. We are having our annual Christmas concert this Sunday from 3 to 5. We're asking anyone and everyone that would like to listen to our beautiful Christmas concert to come join us. It's from 3 to 5. Members and guests are more than welcome. And you can hear Ron Ross, myself, and my husband presenting some music to you.
okay.
Mr. President, one more. I'd like to thank everybody who attended the Breakfast with Santa. It was great. I especially want to thank the children. They had a great time. And we also gave away a beautiful custom-made rocking horse. So some child's gonna be rocking all the time on the horse. And we also, I'll let Dave talk when he comes up about what we did, okay, Dave?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dave Fagan, Unit 1. May I turn around and face people? Sales were very slow going into the Breakfast with Santa. The week before Breakfast with Santa, last Saturday, we had only sold 57 tickets. As of the day before Santa, last Saturday, we were up to 100 tickets. We sold every one. Attendance, I believe we had about 94 people attended. There were some who could not. A fellow by the name of Mr. Deese, he built and donated that rocking horse. Our Santa, local community Santa, had an arm problem and hurt, could not hold the children, so we had to go out and find a substitute Santa. We had to call twice and reorder food, but it was very successful. We didn't make any money on it, but the children and the adults from the community that came had a good time. We did put up signs, sold out, so we did not let anybody in from outside. Bill here and his wife came, and we didn't even let them in, members of the men's club.
You didn't let me in.
So it was a success.
You didn't let us in either. You didn't let me in either.
We didn't do it either?
For good reason.
Thank you to all your members of the club.
And we had a great turnout of the membership, working that day. So, thank you to the community.
Couple of things. You notice the Christmas decorations, those cut-out Christmas decorations that you see around the beginning of Brookridge, not on the outside, but on the inside, all those wooden things. I found out that they had been refurbished by Ron Lasakia and Bruce Behrens, and they're the oldies but goodies. It's part of what the decorations are part of what Brookridge has been for a long time, and I'm glad that they refurbished them and put them back up. The other thing is, Vince and the crew did a beautiful job here, in the front here. And the blue tree over there, is it the blue tree? In front of the tennis courts is a veterans tree. And nobody ever recognizes it. And I remember last year, Vince saying something to me after Christmas about it, so I wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to all the veterans for that tree.
It's not actually for the veterans.
Oh.
It's for all the,
Mike.
it's actually for the tree. The tree is decorated, with a single strand of blue or crystal, depending on how many lights I had that year, depending on the size of the tree that's grown to. It's for all the, past residents that have been here.
Oh, okay.
So it's dedicated to them.
Okay, it's dedicated to all the past residents of Brookridge. It's still beautiful, thank you. And then I just have one more thing. Please, this is a memorial. We had 3 former residents who passed away that were board members at one time or another in Brookridge. And they had a lot of accomplishments, and I would just like to recognize them. There was 3, we had Carol Levesque, Ed Colby, and Eileen Smith. And I will explain, I will give you some information on Carol, and I'm going to have Jim Snyder come up and give you information on Ed Colby, and Jackie McCabe will give information on Eileen Smith. And the reason, I mean, these people did a lot for Brookridge. They were in the community for a long, long time and helped make Brookridge what it is today. Carol Levesque, she was secretary to the Bcpo Board of Directors. She was a liaison to the Election Committee and Nominating Committee and coordinated the yearly 4th of July event. She was also a Finance Committee person, and she had been a unit rep. She was chairman of the Weight Control Club and Social Dance, and she was an active member in the Women's Club. She also was active with the Easy Does It Exercise Club. And Carol did those things, a lot of those things, right up until she got too ill to be able to participate, and that was only about a year ago. And I just want to have a moment of silence for all 3 of them once the other 2 come up. I'm going to have Jackie come up first.
Jackie McCabe, Unit 6. I'd like to thank the board for honoring these 3 women. I happen to know Eileen rather well. Eileen Smith has lived in Brookridge for over 30 years. She and her husband were members of the camping club until he was no longer with us. And I remember 15 years ago when she was a, quote, substitute secretary for the Bcpo board in room A and B on Tuesday mornings. She was a wonderful neighbor, always a positive person. Ask anyone on Melrose Avenue and they'll confirm that. She was never negative, always available whenever help was needed. Eileen was an active member of Crafty Stitchers, a past president for more than 1 term. She also did Helping Hands and was an officer there also. The drama club enjoyed her and her performances. Some of them were the poetry that she was always coming up with if she wasn't busy helping somebody backstage. She worked on the Thursday night entertainment committee, always greeting the patrons and helping them find their seats with a smile. She was a happy resident of the Red Hat Ladies here in Brookridge. Eileen also did counseling for hospice. The ladies of Brookridge were lucky to have her. She always was willing to introduce new members to those of us more mature or older members. She always was very happy and smiling. Eileen was a talented writer. She and Terry Walters wrote and published a book. In her spare time, she worked with FISA, sorry, I can't even spell fish, but she was an active member and she loved what she was doing. The family will return here in March for a celebration of her life here at the clubhouse. Details will be released at that time when we know when the whole family is going to be able to get here. But we all want to thank Eileen and the other two also. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Vince, could you bring the mic to Mr. Snyder?
Jim Snyder, Unit 4. Gail asked me to come up with some items of interest about Mr. Ed Colby, who passed away on the 2nd of November this year. We lost a pillar of the community, and I'm going to read from his nomination from the memorial wall his assets to this community. He was a Bcpo president in 2008. Second vice president, 2004 to 2006. First vice president, 2001 to 2003. Director, 2007 to 2009. And a board member of Deeds and Restrictions and Rules and Regulations Committee. In his spare time, he was associated with the Music Airs, the Bowling Club, Golf Association, the Campers Club, Crime Watch, Social Dance Committee, President and Vice President of High Ridge Squares, Square Dance. He was I don't know how many gallons of blood donor. He was a bingo volunteer and a kitchen worker. Member of the Northeast Club, the Safety Committee, Beautification Committee, and also the Men's Association. Wow. Ed worked in the office down there, and he would pass out phone books, assessment books, and put up and take down the Christmas lights, and was also responsible for putting up the flags on Central Boulevard. Ed, along with his wife Maxine, supported our troops. They sent out over 2,100 packages to the troops. He kept his own records of donations and packed up with his wife and took all the stuff to the office. Ed was also instrumental in getting the fountain by the guard shack. I think you all know that Ed was a busy person. If anybody has any qualms about what he did, I'll guarantee you, you're going to find a heck of a volunteer. This man, like I said, was a pillar of this community, and we need about 20 more of him, and we'd have a great community to live in. That's it. I go no farther. I'm sorry.
Jim, thank you. I just think that we need to remember these people because they were what made Brookridge what it is today, and we just hope that more people step up and feel community again. That's when they really had community. Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay, next we'll open up to member comments. Let's see. First here I got Bill Riley. Want to say something?
Good evening, Bill Riley, Unit 4. Thank you. I knew that. RV committee, I really don't have a whole lot to add other than some of the things. I guess I have some questions, but if there's going to be some new rules and regulations, a new copy of the rules and regulations, revised rules and there you go. Thank you. I'm gonna hold my questions until I can read them. Speaking of that, I agree that the rules and regulations are a work in progress and should be constantly changing. Things change around us all the time. Get used to it. It's never going to be the same. Let's see, I did have a couple other things. Recommend that all ACC rule changes go before the ACC committee. You know, make them the bad guys. Seriously, you get thrown under the bus plenty. Speaking of thrown under the bus, sorry. Robert's Rules of Order, I have read the book, but I have not memorized the book. I am not aware of a renter versus owner versus paying member not being able to address the board. Your turn.
Yeah, that is in our governing documents. Okay, Robert's rules have nothing, it's in our governing documents.
Got it. There you go. Like I said, I didn't memorize the book. I'm aware of the book. I have a copy of the book. That's the truth. That's all I got. Thank you. Thank you all very much. It's an understatement to say that it's a thankless job. You wish it was a thankless job. It's a thankless job, except then you get punished for it. So, thank you for taking your punishment.
And thank you for the questions, Bill. I'm glad that you asked them.
So I'm expecting to be in detention. Okay. Next I got Alan Reynolds. Yeah.
Morning, it's kidding. Evening, I'm Alan Reynolds, Unit 3. Some current concerns about traffic, and also to let you know, I'm retired law enforcement, 45 years of service, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. Speeding and stop signs, there, Midmore, Rialto, it's just nothing being done. People they just don't even stop at the sign. In fact, some of the employees that work here, break the crew, watched this morning, 2 green Christians. It's went right through the stop sign, made a left turn, went down Midmore. And Brookridge is probably bad too, so I don't want to just pick on one. But Rialto, they just fly up and down that road, and it doesn't like anybody's doing anything about it. I've complained, this will be the 3rd year I've complained about it, and still nothing's been done. It's just unsafe. My wife and I, we were walking last year on the road. We're facing traffic like you should. Turn around, hear a car coming. Turn around, the guy's heading for us. Well, we're on the wrong. He's on our side of the road where we're supposed to be. He's heading for us. We had to jump into a vacant lot to keep him getting hit. And he just puts his hands up in the air. No big deal. Something needs to be done because you guys are opening yourself up to some serious issues if nothing's done. Somebody's gonna get hurt, somebody's gonna be killed, and believe me, I'll fail for my life. It's not a pleasant thing to do. I just want to make you aware, see if anything can be done, or if you're making any plans to do anything. Signs are an issue. Your signs are great. I don't see an issue with the sign. It's just people don't care. They just don't care. They want to speed. They're going to do what they want to do. They don't want to stop at the stop sign. They want to say something about it.
I'm just curious, is it a certain time of day that you see it?
Morning rush hour and evening rush hour are 2 worst. Okay, they're always in a hurry. I would say probably the majority of people probably don't even live on Rialto. They're probably coming off the side street.
Which Rialto?
The one off of Midmore.
Inner or outer?
Well, I'm going to be outer, but if you have Midmore, make the right.
Yeah.
The outer Rialto is the outer Rialto. The
Okay,
inner
no, the one
Rialto is the
directly
inside.
on Mid.
I guess that's the outer. So we just met new neighbors. They live on the corner of Rialto and Rialto, so fuck you there. Like I said, I did speed enforcement for, I don't need a radar to know these people were speeding. I did it for 45 years, law enforcement, and even my son's still doing it, so it's a family tradition now, so, but, anyway, I just, like I say, it was time for me to retire after 45 years, so, I mean, that much, but,
But, you know, I just wish something would be done, you know, I'll be out in a couple of them, I mean, we're not kidding, you know, I mean, I should not be doing that, I mean, like I say, it's 25 miles an hour everywhere in this area except for, on the boulevard. So, everybody should know what the speed limit is.
Yes,
And
yes.
especially the employees, okay?
It's an ongoing issue.
Yeah, and those employees, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Who's gonna obey the rules if they're not obeying the rules?
Yeah.
You know, and we need to, you know, pay attention. I think
Written them down.
the day or yesterday, I actually saw my entire player go going, they didn't slow down enough to make it there. I almost went to the yard, you know, across the street from us, that out there.
Okay, but I'm just, the issue with the speeding, from Midmore, and I know what you're talking about, the one that Midmore goes into nothing and there's a stop sign there, right?
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. well,
Yep,
stop
that's the
sign,
one,
and
yeah.
stop sign.
Right, the stop sign is there.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get reared end because I stopped. So,
Okay.
That's how it is.
Okay, I've written it down for Captain Schuler.
Okay, thank you. And have a Merry Christmas too.
Okay. You too. Okay, thank you for those comments. I've just reminded everybody that the county says it's gonna take them like 6 months to certify all the signs in here, to make sure they're in the right spot. Then we'll send a letter to the county, and then we can bring in sheriffs to like enforce the laws on the streets. And that'll take about 6 months. I think, the advisory committee talked to Ernie Lane. He said it'd take about 6 months to certify all the roads and stuff. And as soon as they get certified, we can bring in the sheriffs to enforce the speeding rules and the stop sign rules. So I just want to make everybody aware of that.
I know I already spoke. Look, can they enforce laws on private property?
Yes,
Okay, but my jurisdiction, we couldn't. You're not speaking of not traffic laws, that's why I asked.
yes, they already do that, and they got certified in Glen Lakes, and the county does patrol Glen Lakes, the sheriffs do. Okay, let's see, the next on the list. Yeah. Paul, you wanna say anything else? Okay. What about you, Ken? Ken Duncan, you wanna say anything else? I got your piece. Okay. All right, she had her hand up first too, I think.
I'm with him.
Okay. Okay.
A couple of times that I've had to call the guard shack. They'll go by my house, and how they make that turn on Midmore is beyond me. But they make that turn, I'll call the guard shack and say, there's a white SUV coming your way with Massachusetts tags, and an 18-year-old kid looks like driving. But they come down here and got grandma's car, and
Okay.
just one.
That's why I asked it specifically where it was, so that, we have a spot. Okay.
You can see them, they're happy as can be, when they turn that corner, and it's a straight line, and they just floor it, you know. I fear, this sounds, and please, I know you're gonna laugh, I buried a couple squirrels.
Okay.
25 miles an hour, I should be burying squirrels.
No, and we understand.
It could be someone's dog.
Yes,
Yeah.
We have a lot of walkers.
yes, we do.
I
It's an ongoing.
I agree, we got a speeding issue and a stop sign issue. I was on Brookridge Boulevard just coming up and turning on Brookridge Central. As I got to the stop sign on Brookridge Boulevard to turn right on Brookridge Central, a car come up Brookridge Central, didn't even stop at the stop sign, ran at about the same speed they were going. And then, they were flying down, Brookridge Boulevard. I saw them turn in the driveway down, and it's not UPS though, or anybody like that. They turned in the driveway and they had a barcode on the side of the car. And that was like 8:30 last Saturday night. So I know there's a problem with them.
Right. You gotta go. Ron, do you still want to speak? There he goes.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, come on up, Ron.
Ron Ross, Unit 6, we still have our sprinkler, by the way, used twice a day. Rick knows what I'm talking about, I talked to him about it before. Question for the board, are we still giving violations for people that park on the grass on the lawns?
Yes.
But aren't y'all more lean on it now because of the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas?
I know which one you're talking about, Ron, and they've been spoken.
My real question comes down to the fact that if residents are cited for that and written up and possibly fined for that, why do we have contractors that are working, daily and pulling up across curbs in the lawns? I'll cite you specifically the corner of, Country Club and Brookridge Boulevard. And they're not the only ones. I understand the people that are bringing new units coming in for the contractors have to pull up in the dirt sometimes for that. But if we got contractors that are going into homes and remodeling or, gotten a home for somebody, it doesn't bode very well for Brookridge and our look-see and what people are seeing if we're allowing contractors with their pickup trucks just to park all over the lawn. So I really wish and hope that we'll take a look at it. I know we're strapped for time, but I just wanted to voice that.
Okay.
Okay, and just a comment on that too, Ron, is that just because they're still doing it doesn't mean that they're not in violation. So I'm just saying, we can't discuss it, but it does not mean that they're not in violation.
Oh, I know they're in violation. My question is, why
Why are they still
aren't
doing
we approaching them to move the trucks
I know what
into the
you're saying.
street where a resident has to park at the same point? They've got place to park.
Yeah.
But they're just pulling up on the lawns and it looks ridiculous.
Mhm.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Val's got a comment up here.
I remember what I forgot, and shame on me. I wanted to thank the social dance decorators. They decorated this hall, and normally I would say it on the Tuesday meeting, but we didn't have the Tuesday meeting. So they decorated this hall, and it complements the ladies of Brookridge's tree so nicely. But they put a lot of effort in this, and they will take it down before they put all the New Year's Eve decorations. So it'll be something brand new for New Year's Eve.
It looks nice.
All right, anybody on my left, it should be over here, that wants to comment? Anybody on my right, over here, go ahead.
Kind of going back to that.
You have to come up to the mic.
I just want to know, can you all?
You have to go up to the mic.
Okay.
And you know why? Because TV,
I
because
can
of the
speak loud,
TV.
that's the issue, I'm used to that, but
Right, the recorder, the TV.
Okay, all I wanted to know is, you were talking about the law enforcement coming in there. Can Brookridge do anything themselves until that time comes? I mean, 6 months is not a long time. Are there, is our security, are they allowed?
Yes, they're doing stuff, yes.
Is our security allowed to do, are they allowed to do anything?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because, at least until we can get the sheriff's department in.
Yeah.
So, okay, that would help some if they would come down, maybe.
If we,
Whatever you're allowed to do, I don't know.
if we could afford to hire a couple more people, a couple more code enforcement to run radar, that would be great. It's not in the budget, but that's the problem, because they're on one street and then the other streets. And so that's how we ask people to come forward, so we know where the problem streets are.
Okay, good. I just wanted to know, we kind of fell in the crack when we moved here, it was right at the beginning of COVID, and, well, when we bought, and we never had any meetings, or, they canceled it on us, so we're just trying to find out some of the different rules and what can and can't be done, so. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rand.
Okay, come on up, Dave. Yes.
Just one last thought. In regards to the breakfast with Santa, the children were given Santa hats and a necklace with a bell on it. Also, the Men's Club was able to obtain over 100 stuffed dolls. We gave those out to the children. We had about 65 left over. We come up here to put them in the Toys for Tot boxes, and they forgot it.
Oh.
So we took them over to the Marine headquarters yesterday, set them up underneath the tree, got some pictures, and just let everybody know we donated in Brookridge's name, about 65 stuffed animals.
Thank you, that was really nice.
Okay, any other comments anywhere?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of adjourn the meeting, say aye, raise your hand, aye. Okay, adjourn, thank you, Tom.
Merry Christmas.